Hey, welcome to another edition of Kyle Meredith With. It's the interview series presented by WFPK at WFPK.org, Consequence, and the Consequence Podcast Network. Thanks as always for making your way here, checking out the series. You know what to do. If you like what you see, what you hear, hit that subscribe button. I put out 3 new interviews every single week, so it's a great way to keep up with your favorite artists. That's a new one every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at all the usual spots like iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Acast, Podchaser, NPR, YouTube for the video versions, as you can see. Or again, anywhere you get your podcast from, subscribe to Kyle Meredith With. And that's me, I'm Kyle Meredith. Today, I am so excited to be talking with Jonathan Van Ness. There is a new series called Getting Curious with Jonathan Van Ness. Now, if you're familiar with Jonathan, you're of course going to remember them from Queer Eye, which by the way has a brand new season on Netflix right now. But maybe you're also familiar with Getting Curious as a podcast. And it has been that way for years now. And what's so impressive about Jonathan's podcast, I mean, a lot of times you, especially when you have a celebrity podcast, it's celebrities talking with other celebrities, and you get that. Of course, there are those moments in here. In fact, recently he talked with Brandi Carlile, who I'm a huge fan of, is a friend of mine. But Jonathan talks to scientists and just workers at various odd jobs, experts in their fields, whoever it is, whatever piques JVN's interests. That's who they're going to talk to. That makes its way into the new Netflix series, which is now the TV version of it. A handful of episodes in this first season that hits on everything from hair to gender identity and being binary and bugs and skyscrapers. And these moments happen all throughout the series where Jonathan is talking with someone, and then it sort of goes up the flagpole to become this much bigger picture, and what it becomes something like world changing in a way, in a small way. In this, I get to talk with Jonathan about all these things. In fact, I want to ask about that very thing right there. Were the subjects picked because of the outcome that they could have on society? Is that a part of it? There's really fun songs throughout the series, so we're going to be talking about that. And the tour. JVN has a tour coming up. So I also want to know if there's any relation to what they're talking about in the podcast and the TV series and what's going to be happening out on the tour as well. All that to say, we get all of that and more in this really fun 5-minute interview. It's Kyle Meredith with Jonathan Van Ness. Well, congratulations, first off, on Getting Curious. I mean, this is such a fun series to watch.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Kyle, and thanks for having me today.
Yeah. So I'll tell you, one of the very first things that I instantly loved about this, about your show, about this new Netflix series, is you're not just showing us behind the curtains of your curiosity. You're using these moments to make the world a better place, really. And I'll point out a couple of the episodes specifically, like hair and binary. You take these conversations all the way to the government in many senses. Was that part of when you were choosing these topics? Was these opportunities for change?
What's really funny? No, like I started off and it was like, really it was just like I wanted to do the questions that I was the most curious about, but then in every single turn, because what I really wanted to do at first when we started is I was like the past, the present, and the future. But in doing that, you quickly realize you cannot tell those stories without talking about some of the implications and intersections of the way that government has changed some of those experiences in terms of like hair and the gender binary. And even in figure skating, there's just a lot of that, it touches each other. A lot of these issues are very fluid and they live next door to each other. In terms of like the trials and the triumphs, a lot of it is close. There can be great joy and then great hardship all in one subject. And so that was something that just kind of naturally kept becoming clear from interviews and from the way that from the onset of the episodes. And then it was like, oh, we got to go. Because really for skyscrapers, for instance, I just thought I was going to go look at skyscrapers and like all the different styles. And I was like, oh, is it going to be like, and I asked Carol Willis, I was like, oh, so like what are like the Spice Girls of skyscrapers? But then next thing I knew is that like skyscrapers like displaced tons of people, which like didn't know until and then I had to go ask about it. So that actually kind of really kept me on my toes as a producer and as a host. And I think it made for a really even more fun and compelling show.
Yeah, it absolutely does. Like I said, not only am I learning things, but again, we're getting inspired. We're having conversations around the house. I mean, I think that's one of the best things you can take away, from something like this. I also want to say how much fun we also have with the songs in some of these episodes. Did you have a hand in writing these out? Windows Kill Birds might be a favorite of ours around here now.
No, but I have to say, I got stranded in LaGuardia on Christmas Eve of 2015 with one of my very good friends whose maiden name was Chris Pratt. And I'm actually about to see them tonight after I finish these interviews with their husband, Nate. And Chris and Nate wrote all those songs along with, did you see the beginning of the gender episode with the pink alien?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So Emily has been my best friend since like 6th grade. So that's Emily. She was a co-executive producer on the project. And then Chris, who is the blue alien, is the Chris who I got stranded in LaGuardia with. And Chris and their husband, Nate, so those three really wrote all the songs. I was like, I want the vibe. I knew like the vibe that I was going for. But I'm not a good singer, nor am I really a good songwriter. So I definitely had to like bring in my friends to help support that. And I just thought it brought so much like fun and texture to the show.
Yeah, it was beautiful. I know you're going out on tour too. Is this going to be part of it, taking your curiosity out there?
My tour is actually more just like comedy. It starts off with like a gymnastics routine. I do like a proper like 1 minute and 30-second like gymnastics routine in a leotard on a bouncy track. It's my like 6th grader fantasies coming to life. In the sense that like I wanted to do gymnastics in 6th grade, but I couldn't, and now I can. So I do it in front of an auditorium of people because I'm like, you're here, so let's do this damn thing. So yeah, and then it's really just stand-up comedy. It's I used to have like a very developed hour that I was like my first hour of like solo like headlining stand-up material that I'd ever done in 2019, and then I wrote like a whole new show. So this is like a new experience of like a whole new show, all new comedy. It's a whole new gymnastics routine. It's a whole new night of fun. We're going to Radio City on March 12th, which I cannot believe. I'm so excited. I got to play it once before and I felt really overwhelmed and intimidated by it because it was like Radio City, and it was my like 5th auditorium venue, and my 5th auditorium venue was Radio City. And I just remember like thinking I'm maybe gonna lose my bowels on the stage right now. It was just so big. So I'm really excited to have like another chance and know what to expect a little bit more. It was still a good show, but I just really am so excited to do it again. Aretha Franklin performed there.
Well, it is a fantastic series. Getting Curious with Jonathan Van Ness. Congratulations on this. I love what you do. I love the podcast. I cannot wait to hear what you do with it next.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
My thanks to Jonathan Van Ness. Again, the new Netflix series is called Getting Curious with Jonathan Van Ness. Of course, there's also the ongoing podcast that's been going forever and ever. As I said, I recommend checking out their interview with Brandi Carlile they did recently. Really great stuff. But all of the interviews that's on that podcast. And don't forget, there's also a brand new season. Season is the word, of Queer Eye that's also on Netflix. I did get to watch one of the recent ones. I think it was one of the first ones this season where they went down to Austin. It's great having the gang back together and out there, especially post-pandemic. They actually worked that into it. So check that out as well. And then JVN has so many things going on right now. So let's do a quick rundown. All the places you can have Jonathan Van Ness in your life. Not only do you get the new Netflix series and Queer Eye, but there is a tour, as we mentioned. The tour is coming up. It's called Imaginary Living Room Olympian. Gymnastics will be involved from what we hear, as well as some fun comedy and talk as well. There are dates on Jonathan's website in February, in March, and in May. We'll see if more dates get added too. It does say more dates are coming soon in big letters with an exclamation point. So I imagine they're not lying to us. So you got the tour dates coming up here. You got the podcast. You got the TV. If that wasn't enough, there's also a book. Jonathan has a book coming out. It's called Love That Story, Observations from a Gorgeously Queer Life. That's going to be coming out earlier, I think, or later on in the spring. That's going to be coming up. Maybe we can do another interview with Jonathan to talk about the book as well. That's on the way. And then there's the JVN hairline. And I bring this up because there, in one of the episodes of the new series, Getting Curious, is all about hair. And Jonathan is talking about loving or or hating and love hating relationship with the old hair commercials, especially from the 70s or 80s. And I had that in mind as I see like the little promo ads on JVN's website. Like that must have been so fun for them to do that. So that's on there as well. Check that out. All this stuff is up at Jonathan Van Ness's website. As for me, thank you so much for checking out the episode. Hey, you made it this far. You like this kind of stuff? Hit that subscribe button. I do 3 new interviews every single week. It's a great way to keep up with your favorite artists, as I said. New episodes Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at all the usual spots like iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Acast, Podchaser, NPR, YouTube for the video versions, or anywhere you get your podcasts from. Subscribe to Kyle Meredith with. Then after that, head over to WFPK.org. That's where I do a show Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern. It's an hour full of song premieres, music news, anniversary spins, bonus interviews. It's Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern at WFPK.org. Consequence has your music and film news. You can also find me on the social media spots, mostly on Twitter. That's where I hang mostly, but also Facebook, Instagram. All 3 of them is at Kyle Meredith. Very easy. I do hope you like and follow along. That does it for another edition. I'm Kyle Meredith. I'll see you next time.